Hello YouTube, Saintbob here of Saintbob's YouTube channel. This is going to be a little bit of a short tutorial on a brand new feature that's come into Xsyon, the ability to actually plant your own trees and watch them grow into big giant godlike trees like those. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly show you around the new implementations, the new features, and just kind of explain a little bit about what it is, kind of what the future has for this particular feature, and we'll take it from there. I just want to quickly point out that I am suffering with a very severe case of the man flu, so if I sniffle like that, my apologies, but I didn't really want to wait any longer to get this video out and get some of the other videos out. As you can see, there have been some changes with the UI, which I'm going to go over a bit later on, maybe in a day or two, because I know that Dookie, the developer, is going to be doing some alterations to the UI, so I didn't want to do anything just yet. I didn't think I'd do the UI any justice until all the tweaks have been completed. So without further ado, let's get started. So what I want to do is I want to take you around here. You can see the tree here. Let's just get rid of my actions panel. Now I've got my resources tab here. Let's put it in the middle so you can actually see. There we go. And you can see now I've got grass and I've got some twigs and some branches. And oh, we go right up to the base of the tree, and you actually get some new resources here. And the actual resources that you get are needles, sap, cones, and there is a fourth one, and that is seeds. Now the sap, you use it in water skins, making actual water containers, which is another feature that I'm going to make a video on once I've actually found the recipes and actually created a few myself. I've not actually been lucky enough to find any recipes for the water skins yet, but once I do, I'll make a tutorial on that. And the cones are just cones. You can extract them, pine cones, you can extract them and get seeds out of, and you can also find the raw seeds as well. So if we just walk around a little bit, see what we can find. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. I think it's just going to be cones, but nevertheless, let me just right click on cones and let's start collecting some cones, shall we? And let's see if we can actually plant some trees. So the first step you want to do if you want to plant some trees is actually find yourself, put this over here, look, put it next to the middle so you can also see that. You want to find yourself a tree and get some cones, or if you've got the option to get seeds, then obviously harvest some seeds straight away. So we'll do about 4, because it is also the success rate of actually planting a tree is based on stats as well. So you're not guaranteed always to be successful with planting a tree. A tree may or may not grow. So there are a couple of new skills that have been implemented, which I'll show shortly once we've actually planted a tree. So we've got 4 now. Now, trees can be planted anywhere as long as it's dirt, grass, or the forestry tile. Now, this is the actual forestry tile here that I'm standing on, and obviously this is grass here. Forestry is obviously where your twigs and your branches are, and this is the grass, and obviously dirt. Well, everyone knows what dirt looks like. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually try and plant one here. So if we right click on the fir cones and click extract, there we go, and you can see now it's extracting. It's similar to how sorting works when you are going over the junk piles and foraging for new items. So you actually first collect the resource and then you sort it, so to speak. So you're extracting the seeds and making the and pretty much just breaking up the cones and finding the seeds. So all we go now is we're going to right click on the seeds and we're going to click plant, and there we go, we're now going to plant, and let's see if I'm successful. Okay, so that seed fails to grow. Now that doesn't mean anything at this point. For example, if you were using the scavenging skill, for example, I'm just going to press it now, it's number 2 on my hotbar. So I'm scavenging now, and you can see there you can't find anything useful here. That's fine. If I press it again, you've already scavenged here recently. You don't get that with planting seeds. You can keep on planting on the same spot until you've planted a tree, so you don't have to move around or anything like that. So we can just keep on going. So let's just hope and pray that a seed does take. Oh, last one to go. Oh dear, let's see if I can get some more. So basically this does all depend on certain skills, and I'll quickly put up my skills tab. 1 second, here we go. And as you can see right here, there is two new skills. There's forestry skill, forestry skill and resource skill. Now obviously forestry is your planting of trees, and that is obviously what you're wanting to increase in order to increase your success rate of planting trees. And you can do that simply by planting trees, or at least trying to plant trees with the seeds, and you will eventually accumulate it a little bit. Oh, while we're here, just very quickly, there is a raccoon over there. So before that disappears, I'll quickly explain resources. Resources is pretty much what you find on the floor here. Now, the resources will actually determine the quality of the resources that you pick up from the ground. So you will end up eventually, if you are really high in resources skill, you will get supreme quality cones, for example, and seeds, and that does benefit in later life, because once your tree has grown, any wood that you harvest from that tree, any logs, any short logs, long logs, they will all be of supreme quality. Or you know, they'll be of high. Well, no, let me rephrase that. They won't be supreme quality. They will be a much higher quality than what they would be if you had just gone up to a normal tree, or your forestry skill was really low. If your forestry skill was really high, and your resources skill was really high, then you would have a very good quality set of logs that you'd get from there. So that's pretty much what the forestry skills and the resources skills do. They pretty much just improve your ability to plant trees, and also affects the quality of what you get from planting trees and what you get from collecting things off the ground. There are two stats that actually affect those two skills, and they're both the same. It is both perception and spirit. So if you want to be good at forestry and increase your resources skills, then you want to increase your perception and your spirit stats. You want to work on those, and they will give you a nice little bonus to forestry and collecting resources. So I think we've got enough seeds, hopefully. I am just going to go and have a run over here and quickly kill this raccoon, because, well, it's looking very tasty and I'm getting quite hungry. So let's see. Oh, this looks hard. I'm probably going to die now. How funny would that be? Oh, so I'm trying to be... Oh, I might have to run away from a raccoon. Oh no! How embarrassing would that be? I'm also hitting it with my pre-order axe as well. I'm trying to stay at the back of the raccoon. Take it from behind, Saintbob. Take it from behind. And I think... Oh, I'm not doing too bad. I think we're about at equal health. Oh, if I could just actually hit it. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna have to run, because it's gonna just chase me down, and I want to finish this little tutorial. So there we go, a little bit of mid-flight entertainment. so to speak. I think it is going to run away from me. It's not going to chase me, is it? That's fine. Okay, so we have some 7 white fir cones, and let's try again at planting them. So let's extract each one. And I'll not extract each one. I'll just plant and as we extract. Let's just check that. It's a raccoon. That's okay. There we go. Look at that, first time. There we go. So we've planted a tree. Oh, it's a baby tree. It looks so cute. And that's lovely. There we go. So we've got a little tree. Now, the funny thing about this is you can actually chop it down right now, but you won't get anything from it. you won't get no resources, no logs, no nothing. You have to wait for it to grow to a certain size. A couple of days and it becomes quite tall. I would say probably about a week to 2 weeks is a full size tree, or at least a tree that will yield some logs, and that's pretty good. So guys, you can probably get your tree plantation going if you've got the space in your tribe, and I think that's pretty good. There are a few limitations to planting trees. The biggest one is you've got to have a nice decent space in between each one. And if you just see it, there is a living tree too close. So let's go a bit further away. Can we plant one? There's a well, yeah, that might be a bit of a setback if I was to plant a tree underneath the boulder. So let's try. Yeah, let's try and go over here. Look on the side here. Let's. Can we plant one here? Probably. There we go. So we'll plant a tree here. Or we'll try to. And you'll be able to see the distance on which you can actually plant a tree if we can get one to work. So here we go. Oh, it's going to be a pain now, isn't it? Okay, so whilst I'm doing this, there are also different breeds of the trees, so you can actually plant specific trees if you want. So you will get different cones, you'll get different needles, you'll also get... Oh no! Oh, there's a tree there as well. I'm gonna have to run away! So there's another tree there, so we'll go back to that in a minute once this raccoon has stopped chasing me. What health is the raccoon at? Oh, it's healed up. Oh god, this tutorial's turning out to be a bit of a long-winded process. I will kill it eventually. So there we can see we've got 2 trees there. The distance that you can plant them is pretty much identical. You can't really be much closer than that. I think you could probably be about half as close. We'll have a look in just a second once we can lure this bloody raccoon away. I'm going to get my revenge eventually. So, what's it doing? That is one scary raccoon. There are some mutants now that will actually spawn. I'm going to do a video on those when I'm able to find a mutant, because you do have to wait for them to go into the mist, and then they come back out as a mutated being. So that's pretty cool. So here we go. Let's quickly see if we can plant a tree near here. So there are a few limitations. Obviously there is you can only plant them on certain terrain. So let's just go back to that. Let's try again. How close can we get? Oh, we can get pretty close actually. I think it probably differs with breeds of trees. Is probably what it is. There was one that I tried to place a couple of hours ago, and it wouldn't allow me to place anything unless I was a good size away. So there we go. That's pretty much tree planting. It's very basic at the moment. It's pretty much magic hands. You can do anything you want with your hands. You can dig yourself a little bit of a hole, put your tree in there, give it a bit of love, pour a bit of water on there, and away you go. So you don't really require anything, which is a bit of a downside. I think eventually we're going to be, you're going to need to be able to make use of tools. For example, you're planting a tree, so you would think that you would need a shovel at least. We can now have water skins, which are pretty much portable containers for water. So you'd think that you would require a shovel and some water. So you can dig your hole, plant your seed, cover it back up with some dirt, and put a bit of water on. And there you go. But at the moment, you don't need any of that. You can just get the seed, plant it, hope it grows. So I think that is definitely something that is going to be done. There has been talk about it. A lot of the player base are requesting it, so that you actually require a lot more tools for everyday things, such as you can collect granite stone with your hands, and I think that being able to do that with a pickaxe is probably more realistic, instead of punching a stone with your fist like He-Man and collecting as much stone as you like. And I think that's going to be the same with trees, planting trees, anything to do with farming. You are going to need some sort of tools to do that. I think this is the very basic version. It's the very first edition of planting trees. I don't think this is the end. It's not. It's definitely not the end of the feature. It is going to be revamped. It's got to be revamped because it's not finished, and it is just a very basic version of tree planting, just to lay the foundations. And I think it is going to be a fantastic feature once it is ready to go, and it requires a bit more attention. Instead of just using your hands, and you have to use tools, and that's another reason to trade with other players if you're not a tool crafter, so on and so forth. So guys, that's all I really wanted to say about the forestry and the resources, and obviously the planting the trees. There isn't really much more I can say about it at this point. I want to give you a bit of an update on my next few videos. I am going to be doing some more tutorials, mainly on the UI. There isn't really much to say about the UI, so it's not really going to be a tutorial. It's just going to be a bit of an update. Waiting for some of the developers to have a bit of a tweak with the UI, because it's this panel over here is a little bit confusing, I'd say. And a lot of the players have said so, and they've expressed their feelings on it, and I think it is something that the devs are definitely looking into, and they are going to be making some changes to it to make it a little bit easier to see. Personally, I quite like the UI, but that's for a different video. Also, there's the mutants as well that we're going to be looking at once I can actually find a mutant. I think there's only been a couple of people who've been lucky enough to find a mutant, and as you can see, I didn't really stand up to I didn't really give that raccoon a decent fight. I pretty much died almost straight away. If it wasn't for me trying to take it from behind, I might have been dead right now, and crying to my mama. So I want to try that out. I'm going to have to work on my combat skills and get some decent armor and some decent weapons, because obviously I wasn't doing enough, and I don't want to go and show myself up in front of a mutant and in front of all you guys. So guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in hopefully a day or two with another video update on the UI, and hopefully in between I'll get us some mutants and we can have a look. So thanks very much guys, and I shall see you next time.